Welcome in. This is the Extra Points podcast with the college football experience. We are the college football experience. I am Gus. That's my main man, Will. You had a little break, so you didn't get to review week 4 with us, but man, you're here to break down week 5. The gang's back together, man. We're finally back. We're both here. We're ready to break down week 5. Gonna be a sneaky week. Isn't as exciting as week 4 was, but there's still some great games to break down. Will, how are you doing, man?
Doing good. We're almost there to Saturday. Excited for the weekend, ready for it to be here, ready to watch some games. Saw y'all's episode with Cody Tuesday. It was pretty good. Hate I couldn't be here, but I know you guys were going to do a good job.
POP, hold it down, man. But before we start breaking in and breaking down these games, just want to remind y'all, man, subscribe. We're gonna be pumping out some awesome content here soon, and we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on TikTok and Instagram as well. We do be dropping little dimes over there of tidbits of the pod, and we'll be dropping little stuff there as well when we get on these campuses at the college football experience at all of those platforms. Man, we haven't broken down the standings here in a couple days, so let's take a look at the standings, man. Well, look at you, Will. You're in first place, baby.
I
With the
know
best record too, 29-11. Man.
It's been a while since I've been in first place this early.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean, I don't want to bring up anything that's happened in the past, but you have been in first before. You have
it's
been in
been a
first
while.
before.
It's
Yeah.
been a while.
But let's see if you can
I've never
pull it
had the
out.
best record and been in
True.
first.
True. And I mean, we do have a bunch of people. And I mean, really, once you get down to, I mean, like I'm in 7th and I'm 12 points behind you. That's a pretty decent little margin for me to be able to make up. But then you got people like Luke, 28-12, but man, only 153 points. That's just a placement of it all, and him losing his 10s, his 8s, and his 9s pretty often, man. That just hurts pretty bad.
It's about placement where you put them, and then it's about just consistency.
Yeah.
I think I've finished in the top 3 every week thus far, or tied for
Mm-hmm.
at least top 4. And some of those guys have been rotating in and out. Like Logan had a bad week 1,
Mm-hmm.
and then Will's bad. He didn't have a good week last week. So it's just being consistent, and it seems like everybody that's won a week has had a bad second week, like the week
Mm-hmm.
after that, maybe besides Nick. I think Nick had a pretty good little week last week, but it's just about being consistent and try to finish in that top 3 every week. So November comes that you got a shot at it. That's really you
Yeah.
want to be in. You want to be in
Staying
that.
in the game early.
Yeah, you either want to be in the lead or you want to be within 5 points. I think.
Yeah.
I think 10 points is a lot to kind of make up unless the dude just absolutely blows
Just
it.
chokes. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, I would kind of say I would say going into the last 2 weeks, you need to be within 15 points to even have a legit shot at it, just because of the nature of the sport. And we don't get a crazy amount of upsets, but I think we're in for a crazy like last 2/3 of the season because man, we're 1/3 of the season done.
I know, man. It's crazy that we're
It's
already
sad. It flies by
already in
like that.
we're already in October pretty much. I mean,
It's
um,
sad.
but we're getting into the good games.
Oh yeah,
We're
the meat of
done
the
with this.
schedule.
Yeah, we're done with the snoozers, and we're on to the nice conference games.
Yep, week 5 is here, and that means everyone is diving into conference play, baby. Let's break down this first game, man. Your Florida Gators, the number 22 ranked Florida Gators going on the road to what is one of their rivals, the Kentucky Wildcats. Man, how do you think Florida's going to perform on the road here? Because they have had struggles on the road under Billy. So how do you think they're going to do when they go up to Lexington and try to get a win over Kentucky?
I am a little worried about this game. It's crazy to think growing up that this would ever be like a
A big
rivalry
rivalry. Yeah.
because they had such a long win streak over Kentucky forever. And then Kentucky's kind of they've won 3 of the last 5. So that's kind of crazy to think about. They're on a 2-game win streak. So I think you're going to have to come up there, have consistent quarterback play, and you need your offensive line to play well. I think that's how Florida
Hmm.
beats Kentucky. I think the defense is going to play well. They've played well pretty much all year.
Yeah.
Um, I know Kentucky's going to want to throw the ball around. They want to get their new quarterback, Nick O'Leary, that he wants to take some shots. They got some playmakers on the outside, so our DBs have got to do a good job. And Armstrong, he blitzes a lot, so they're going to be in
Hmm.
man on man coverage a lot. So try to eliminate the explosives. Which offensive line can play the best? I think that's going to be the key to the game. I think Florida can get it done. I do think we're better than them when it comes to talent wise, but we got to prove it on the field. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna go the Gators right here. Um, I kind of got them high. Um,
Hi.
yeah, I want to get those points
Lord,
early.
man.
Um,
You're all about getting points early in the day.
yeah, I want to
You're
get. I
all
don't want
about
to
them.
be. I don't want to get. I don't want to wait to get 9 and 8 points late in the day. This little method's been working for me.
Yeah.
And I want to keep it like that. The only time I'm not going to get points early is the game Friday night, so I'm not even worried about that game.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But yeah,
But
this game I want a bunch of points going into 3:30 Saturday.
I'm real interested to see if this kind of new Florida defense does travel on the road because Kentucky's going to be rocking. I mean, I've always heard that people sleep on Kroger Field, but
No,
I'll
I'm glad this game is at 12 and not 7:30 because of the atmosphere. Like
for
it
sure, you'd rather
is
this game be at 12.
crazy things happen up there at night, and I wanted no part of it.
Hmm. And I really want to see Florida come out early on the offensive side of the ball. I really want to see them say, like, we're going to stick to our game plan, kind of like they did in the Tennessee game. Say, it's like, hey, like, we're going to run the ball and you're going to have to stop us because we're going to run it down your throats. And I do want to see them convert a little better in the red zone because they did struggle with that last week. So I want to see the offense really establish the game plan and I want to see them stick to it. I truly want to see that this defense does travel, and because we've heard all off season that this new Kentucky offense with Liam Cohen, Devin Leary, and these
Oh,
young,
definitely. I said Nick O'Leary.
and
That's funny.
because they had two really young wide receivers in 2022 that they were kind of hoping were going to pop coming into 2023, and they haven't quite done it yet. This Kentucky offense is kind of looked stale. I mean, they've started slow, and yeah, they've won all their games, but I think double digits. But they just haven't looked good in any game. So I think Florida's going to win too. This will probably be like my 3 or like my 4 just because of the nature of the week. And I mean, this could be my 2, this could be my 7. So, but I haven't necessarily placed all of my games yet just because I'm still thinking about the placements. But I'm also going to pick Florida to win this ball game, but it'll be low in my standings, like a 3 or a 4 probably. Man, from one big SEC game to another one, the Georgia Bulldogs, go on the road to Auburn, 14.5 point favorite. That's line surprisingly kind of low to me. This is their first road test for the Dogs. They're going on the road, like I said, down to Jordan-Hare Stadium. 3:30 Eastern kickoff time on CBS. We get to listen to Brad and Gary. Beautiful, but not beautiful. Man, the first road trip for the Dogs. I'll be interested to see how they perform here.
Yeah, I wish Auburn could have showed me a little bit more in the A&M game. They just
Specifically on
looked
offense.
Yeah, they just looked terrible on offense, man, and,
Yeah,
dude, if you can't move the ball I mean, I know A&M's pretty good at defense, but if you can't move the ball, man, you're gonna be in trouble.
big
Um,
trouble.
and, if you know, they did a the D Auburn's did a pretty good decent job of stopping the run. They just couldn't stop the explosive plays, and Georgia's offense hasn't been that explosive.
No.
Um, so it'll be interesting to see. They do get Lad McConkey back. I have no idea who's playing running back for Georgia. It could be
I
a
think
random
it's
fan.
Edwards, right?
It could be a random fan in the bleachers. I don't know.
A
Yeah, I think
a
it is Edwards.
a
But
cheerleader's gonna suit up for him.
yeah, yeah. Um, it- I, I think Georgia's going to win, but I do know why this. I think I know why this spread is just so low. Georgia just hadn't looked great, and this is in Jordan-Hare. It's a crazy things happen there.
Yeah.
It's going to be competitive. We talked about this early in our group text. I think Hugh Freeze might take over the play calling.
Just
That's
because of
probably
how
the best.
horrible the offense looked last week.
I just want to see them stay with one quarterback.
Mhm.
Just let the dude get in rhythm, whoever it's going to be. I don't care if it's Peyton or Robbie. Let them get in a rhythm and see what they got, man. But
Right.
I think Georgia's going to be too much defensively. I think their offense will get going. It's not going to be the prettiest win, but I think they're going to end up winning.
Man, the thing that I wanna look at in this game is whenever you look at Auburn, they've had a pretty stout defense. They're a super, super salty group. So I'll want to see Georgia play the best defense that they've played up to this point. That environment's going to be rocking. I do want to see Carson Beck go on the road and kind of be able to command that offense, kind of shut that crowd down early. Because if Georgia sticks around like they have been in these games, could you imagine if Auburn leads 14-3 at halftime like South Carolina did over Georgia? Do you know how berserk that place is going to be going? Like
Oh, dude, it'll be
that place is going to be electric. And I
like
turned down tickets to the game.
coming down to like when they come out of halftime, if they're up 14-3, like Georgia will not
Oh
be able to
gosh.
hear
No.
in the huddle. Like they're gonna have to
No.
do something. It's gonna be a madhouse.
Yeah, so I really since I am going to pick Georgia, this is a game I would not mind losing at all, just so I could see Georgia lose. But I am going to put Georgia high. But unfortunately, I am going to put Georgia high. I don't know if I'm going to put them at 10, just because I hate putting them at 10 over Auburn. So I'll probably put them at like 8 or 9.
I got them at 10.
At 10,
Yeah.
God,
At 10.
that's a tough
That
look
it
to have them at 10, man.
that is probably the most confident game. Probably my one of my most confident games of the weekend.
Yeah, just because of how sketchy some of these other games are. There is a game later that we are gonna talk about that I am gonna put at 10, and we can cross that bridge when we get there. But from one SEC game to another, number 12 LSU goes on the road to Oxford. They are a 2.5 point favorite versus Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. They do look to go 3-0 in conference play. That would be really big for them. And then you have Ole Miss is kind of looking to bounce back, man. They had a rough offensive performance last week, kind of a rough performance in general, man. Thoughts on this game?
I'm just not sure about Ole Miss. Like their
Mhm.
defense struggles.
Their offensive line is booty.
Yeah, they're just very inconsistent up front. Um, man, and LSU's an interesting team. I just don't really know. about this game, man. This could be the game that Ole Miss somehow pops.
Yeah.
They put 42 up on LSU, and LSU scores 31. This could be a shootout. Um, but I think LSU's probably going to win this game just because of their defense. I think their defensive front and their linebackers, they're going to play really well. They're going to stop their run, first of all. And then the only thing that scares me is LSU's DBs. um,
That's such a leaky secondary.
yeah, it scares me, but I think they're going to do just enough to win. And I think old Jane Daniels is going to do just enough with his legs to pull through and make a few throws for LSU to pull away and get Brian Kelly another W and start them 3-0 in conference play.
Man, I'm super confident in this game just because I don't think Ole Miss is good. The only reason they're ranked is because they have an SEC on their jersey. That's the only reason that they're ranked. The only reason. They have done nothing this season to show me they should be ranked. I mean, they had to go on the road. They struggled with Tulane. They didn't look great against Georgia Tech. They got absolutely manhandled by Alabama. There is no reason they should be ranked. Their offensive line is absolutely horrendous. They can get zero push. I really don't think that their defense front seven is any better. So I think we're gonna see LSU kind of go on the road. They're gonna be able to, I think, physically dominate this game. I think their offensive line is gonna get push. I think their defensive line is going to wreak havoc, and I don't think Ole Miss necessarily has the guys to push that secondary like teams like Florida State could. I mean, they did get pushed by Arkansas last week, but I just think that LSU's. I just think they're going to put kind of a butt whooping on Ole Miss this weekend in Oxford, and I think this game's at 6 or is it at 6:30? I think it's at 6. It's
I'm
kind of
not
in a
sure.
weird slot. Yeah, kind of in a weird slot, but I do know that it is at night. So I think, and just the history of you, I think, I think Lane Kiffin is like 1-9 in ranked games. I think when he's at Ole Miss, so not very good. So I'm going with history on that, and I'm going with the better roster with LSU. This is probably going to be kind of high here for me, like about 7, 6 maybe.
Yeah, I'm around somewhere around there too. I mean,
Yep.
feeling pretty good about LSU.
Yep. Man, two teams. One of these teams is hot. They started the season hot. They're still hot, and you have another one of these teams looking for a bounce back win. Number 11 Notre Dame going on the road. They are a 5.5 point favorite at number 17 Duke. College Game Day is going to be here at their first time in Durham, North Carolina. Can Duke pull off another home upset? Or do the Irish get a bounce back win after a week 4 game versus Ohio State that I think they should have won?
This is the first time they're there for football,
This is the
college
first
game
time
day.
College Game Day has been to Durham for football. Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I got Notre Dame bouncing back right here. Sam Hartman's going to come out. I think he's going to have a great game.
Hmm.
Um, I think Clemson's better. I think people are just judging Duke off of the Clemson win
Hmm.
because that's really the last time we probably watched them. Um, I'm going to say Duke, North Carolina. Notre Dame's going to win pretty big. I just think they're better than them. They're going to kind of expose Duke. I think Duke is a good team. Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
I like them. I like what their coach is doing, but I think they're going to fall on this one. I think Notre Dame's going to be a little pissed off, and I think they're going to be ready to go. I like what Marcus Freeman does, what he's doing up there, what he's building. They lost a heartbreaker last week. Hopefully, they're not in a hangover from
Yeah.
that. I hope they're just still not thinking about it. Um, Hopefully, they've moved on and they're ready to take their frustration out on somebody. And I think they can pull it off and beat Duke.
I think this is going to be kind of an ugly game because Duke plays really good defense. Notre Dame's probably they for sure have the more talented roster. They have a really solid defensive line. They have a really solid offensive line. I'm not 100% sure if they have the most talented quarterback in this game. That boy, Riley Leonard, is an absolute freak of a quarterback. Right now, he's probably not the best quarterback, but I think he's more talented overall than Sam Hartman is. But man, I'm so back and forth on this game because I've been so high on Duke that right now I have Notre Dame at 2. Super, super low just because I'm going with the more talented roster at this point. But man, every part of me wants to pick Duke. Literally every part of me wants to pick Duke. So I might end up flipping on this game. For right now, I do have Notre Dame. But I
I don't
think
even
this will
think you
come
want to
down
know where I got this game ranked.
9. 9.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
At 9. I hope I'm flipping to Duke now then. Flipping
That's
to
fine.
Duke.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm flipping to Duke at 2. But
I'm gonna be
I don't
mad when
know
I
if I
got
want to.
when I got greens everywhere and I'm gonna have two
Yeah,
little
and
reds at the bottom.
man, man. I'm so back and forth on this game just because Duke's been playing so well, and um TBD on this one. But right now,
I think
I am
I think
I am gonna go with my original pick. I
I
am
bet
gonna go
Notre
with Notre Dame.
Dame I bet Notre Dame fans come and there's more Notre Dame fans there than Duke fans.
More, you really think so?
Hmm.
Dang.
Yeah, dude. There's not like
You,
think about Duke football. There's not a big support system for it.
you want to put a
So
dinner on it?
I think you already owe me one.
Well, then I owe you another one.
I think. Well, it's gonna be kind of hard to tell. I mean, they're navy blue and gold and blue and
True,
white.
true, true. Very, very true. But I think this has potential to be the game of the day. I truly think it does. So we'll just have to see, man. This matchup out west is so intriguing, and it's such a weird line. The number 10 Utah Utes, who some people have coined Iowa of the Pac-12 this season, go on the road to Corvallis, Oregon, to face Oregon State, who is coming off a loss against Washington State. The Beavs -3.5. Man, this line is so weird because you see Utah that's undefeated, that's kind of looked okay going on the road, and to see them as a 3.5 point dog is just strange.
Yeah. I think last week that just wasn't Oregon State's type of game shootout.
No.
I do think this is their type of game, though. Defensive battle. They want to run the ball.
Slugfest.
They want to be under center. They want to run it. They want to let I don't even want to try to pronounce his name. Their
DJ
quarterback,
Uyagalele.
yeah, DJ Uga Um,
You're
DJ
hell for that,
Uga
boy. DJ Uyagalele. You're hell for that.
I just don't trust Utah's offense, man. Like, if they wouldn't have got a pick six last week, they wouldn't have won. Like, I don't know. I think Oregon State's defense is better. This game is low for me. I've been back and forth on it. I just think, weirdly, oddly enough, Oregon State has the better quarterback right now.
Right now, yes.
I told you
100% they have the better quarterback.
before we started filming. I just think Utah's using their quarterback wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to go with Johnson, they need to be in spread, let him run the ball, get him out in space. Because, dude, he runs like I've already told you this. He runs the 100-meter in like 10 something seconds. He's
Which
quick.
is fast.
His problem was going into camp was he's just not an accurate thrower.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go. I got Oregon State right now, but I got him low. Not 100% sure. If they somehow announce tomorrow Cam Rising's playing, it would intrigue me to switch it.
I think even if Cam Rising's playing, I don't think he's anywhere close to 100%. Because if he was close to 100%, he would have already been playing. That there is like smoke out of Utah that they are going to wait until the bye week to like get him into practice, get him like a full week where he is able to kind of get rolling and then start him the following week. And I think their bye week's not this week, and it might be next week or the week after that. So I think Utah is just trying to keep the boat afloat without Cam Rising actually playing. And man, I think in this I think in this type of Pac-12, I think they could go on the road and they could afford to lose this game and then still be in pretty solid contention to still be able to win the Pac-12. Man, I think the battle is Utah's offense versus Oregon State's defense because if the Beavs can hold them to 13, 14 points, I definitely think they can win this game pretty soundly. If Oregon State doesn't make any types of mistakes, I think that this could also be a game that's like severely impacted by maybe like a super bad interception thrown or like a super bad fumble that goes the wrong way. Like that just feels like this game where it's like there's going to be one or two plays where you're like that just decided the game. So I am also going to go Oregon State, and every time that I pick Utah, I get beat. So it would be a smart for y'all to pick Utah because I'm going with the Beavs here. Man, my 10, my number 10, number 24, Kansas, number 3, Texas. Texas 16.5 point favorite, man. Is there any shot Kansas upsets Texas this weekend? Any?
I mean, yeah, if you come out and don't play well, because Kansas offense is pretty good.
Yeah.
Texas is known to have a terrible game.
Mm.
I mean, this would be like one of those games where you'd be like, "There's no way Kansas can beat Texas," and then you
Kansas
turn
beats
it on,
Texas.
and Kansas is up 17-0 somehow, and you're like, "What's going on?"
What's
Quinn
happening?
Ewers, Quinn Ewers has thrown 2 interceptions. He's hurt now. They got
Yeah.
Arch Manning out there or something. Um, so yeah, there is a possibility, but I don't see it happening. No, not the way Quinn Ewers is playing, and their defense is pretty salty right now. They're
Dude, it's
you know
so good.
they're
I
rocking and rolling right now. So
I
uh,
think
um,
I think we could look back and say like why wasn't Texas ranked like first? Like why isn't Texas ranked number 1? And I just think it's all of the preseason hype around Georgia and all the preseason hype ar- around Michigan that's kept them in those 1 and 2 spots and the stuff they've done in 2021 and 2022 because like what teams looked more complete and more impressive than
well,
the Longhorns?
Texas big win doesn't look that great right now because Alabama hasn't looked that great.
I mean, but they're
So
still on the road at Alabama and like they physically dominated everyone that they've played. And I mean,
hey, you just talked about how terrible Ole Miss was, and Alabama was in a dogfight with them for a while.
it but like whenever you were watching the games like it didn't feel like Alabama was in a dogfight. Like the score kind of looked it, but like you could see him. It's like
And the week before, they were in a dog fight with South Florida.
that was a whole different scenario, though.
So I mean,
That was a whole
that's
different scenario.
that's the reason why their win just doesn't look that good because Alabama hasn't looked that good. But Alabama keeps winning, it's going to keep looking better and better and better,
But
and then Texas can just take care of business.
I mean, they,
Really, the number one team in the country should be Florida State. They have the two best wins out of anybody.
yeah. I mean,
If we're going to go like that,
yeah. Ha- I just think right now that I think that Texas looks like the most complete team from their offensive line to their defensive line to their quarterback play to their wide receivers, running backs. I mean, I think right now they would be my favorite to win a playoff. But we're still super early in the season. I do think Texas kind of takes care of business here. I think that this defense is going to give Jalen Daniels fits, absolute fits. And I think the Texas team total overs like 40.5. And I I kind of like that play. It is a really high number, but I still like it because I think Texas is legit. Staying in the Lone Star State, man. Texas A&M -6.5 versus Arkansas. This game is always so weird,
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
weird,
It's always a good game.
dude. It is always like a highlight of the day game, and I think it's going to be that way this year too. Texas A&M quarterback Connor Wegman goes down, out for the season, hurt a bone in his foot that takes like 3 to 4 months to heal. So he will be out for the season. Max Johnson steps in, LSU transfer. One of the best backup quarterbacks in the country, could easily be starting at tons of other schools, man. Where do you have this game and who do you have winning?
Um, I think I'm gonna go Aggies. Just because of the defensive front. That's the reason why I picked them in a lot of games.
Mhm.
They're just. I think Arkansas just. Gosh, they just can't catch a break with this schedule, man.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's a brutal schedule. This is one of the games though they could get back on track. I could see Texas A&M losing. But Max Johnson looked better than Wegman did to me against Auburn. Like he just had he controlled the offense a little better. He threw the ball downfield a little better. He could just move the offense, and I thought he did great coming in, making plays just right off
Yeah.
the bench for Texas A&M. It'll be interesting to see him play a whole game
Mhm.
because Auburn definitely wasn't ready for him to come in there and be able to play like that. So I think A&M's defense will be the difference. So I think they just all they got to do is just keep KJ Jefferson from making those crazy scramble plays, keep him in the
Mm.
pocket, um, and just try to contain Arkansas's run. And I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, and I also think that Arkansas could possibly try to expose this A&M secondary um like
Miami.
like Miami did, because they kind of do have the people to do it, and they did hurt LSU's secondary last week. So I think they could try to recreate that in this game. But I too think that Texas A&M is just a little too much. They have great running backs with Owens in the backfield. They're also loaded at the wide receiver position, and then like you said, that front seven is just great. Like they're pretty solid. So I think the more talented team here will prevail as well. And I think A&M is probably one of the favorites to win the SEC West at this point. Them, LSU, and Alabama.
I wouldn't be surprised though if Arkansas somehow pulls this game out.
Oh
That's just
yeah,
what happens in this game. It,
there's a reason it's
it,
a 6.5 point spread.
it this game has always just been A&M could be in control of this game, and then late they throw a pick six. Arkansas
Mhm.
somehow does an onside kick, recovers it, scores, boom, they're in the game. I mean, that's some crazy stuff that goes on in this game.
Do you remember how crazy the game was last year when ever Texas A&M they like scooped up a fumble whenever KJ Jefferson was like leaping over to like
Yeah.
try to get into the end zone, and then he like threw it back to his guy, and then he goes for the whole way, and then the doink at the end of the game right off the top of the upright for Arkansas, man. Can't
Yeah.
wait. Can't wait.
I definitely, but back to your SEC West thing, those are definitely the three that you got to look at right now. I think that's the only three that have a shot at winning it. I just think the other teams are just don't have enough. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Auburn, um, Arkansas. They're just not very good right now.
Mhm.
And really, this is a three-team race. So,
Yeah.
um, and it'd be fun to see A&M in Atlanta.
Dude,
That would
yeah.
be awesome, dude.
That
We'll
would
definitely,
probably save Jimbo's job for another 2 years maybe.
yeah. So it'd be cool to see them play now. It's probably going to end up being Georgia. I mean, I don't I don't see nobody
Yeah,
else beating Georgia, but I
man.
think it'll be fun though.
From the SEC West to the SEC East, a game I was essentially forced to put on here that I really didn't want to put on here. South Carolina versus number 21 Tennessee, 12.5 point spread at home. The Vols are favored. Can Tennessee get revenge on an embarrassing loss last season that essentially kept them out of the playoffs?
Yeah, here's why they're going to. South Carolina already has a struggling offensive line, and they're already struggling with injuries on the offensive line. So I don't see them being able to run the ball in this game whatsoever. And if they can't protect Radler, they're gonna have trouble. Um,
Dude, and plus he's been playing lights out
yeah,
this
dude,
season.
he's had an incredible year, dude.
Especially for
Dude,
the line situation that he's in.
yeah, for him to be able to play like this, he's going to get his. I will say this: he's going to make incredible plays, incredible
Yes.
throws. Um, but again, it's going to be kind of like the Georgia game. They're just going to wear down, and Tennessee's defense will be able to play better. Um, let's see what Joe Milton can do. Last time we saw
No.
him in the spotlight, he didn't look too good.
No.
So let's see what he can do. Can they get their vertical game going? Their run game needs to get going. In these types of games, they did really well last week, but that was against a nobody. I know before the Florida game, they were averaging about 6 to 7 yards per carry. And then the Florida game, they only averaged 2 yards per carry. So
Oof.
that's got to be better in an SEC play. And South Carolina's defense isn't bad at all. It's actually pretty
No.
good. So let's see, man. I got Tennessee for this one, though. I think they cover. And it's just because Tennessee's going to get stops in this game. They're going to force South Carolina to punt. They're going to probably get a few turnovers just because of Spencer's going to be running for his life eventually. I mean,
Mhm.
I just don't see this going any other way.
I mean, South Carolina was able to kind of find a running game last week versus Mississippi State, man. But them coming in to Neyland Stadium, this kind of being a revenge game. Tennessee's wearing their all blacks.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Man, just out of spite for being forced to put this game on here, I want to pick South Carolina because everyone's going to pick Tennessee. I mean,
You
I
like
would say
picking
like,
Cox, don't you?
yeah, hey man, but everyone's going to pick Tennessee, and that's why I didn't want to put this game on here because we already have games like Texas, Kansas, Auburn, Georgia, where everyone's going to pick one side. So there's a part of me that wants to pick South Carolina, but I think Tennessee is going to win this game too. I don't quite know where to put it yet. I might put it somewhere between like the 6-4 range, but I would not be surprised if at the end of the day we look up and we're like, "Oh, South Carolina won 34-30," and when we or like, "Oh, South Carolina won 34-17." Tennessee's an absolute flop, and Joe Milton's not who we actually thought he was.
Oh,
So
dude, if he struggles in this game, we will see the freshman.
we will
I mean,
definitely see that boy Nico.
yeah, I mean, two SEC East games in a row you struggle with, especially two teams that
Yeah,
heavily favored in going into the year.
yeah,
Uh, two teams you should be better than.
yeah,
So I think we'll see him if it's like out of range in the fourth quarter like that. Oh yeah, he'll come in the fourth quarter.
dude. I could definitely see this game going that way, and South Carolina just getting the best of them. But probably gonna stick with Tennessee, but man, do I want to pick South Carolina out of spite. Two games that kind of under the radar, but I think will be pretty solid games. Louisville -3 going on the road to Carter Finley Stadium to play North Carolina State. I'm surprised Louisville's not ranked yet. They are 4-0, but if they go on the road and win this game, they'll definitely be ranked. Can the Cardinal stay undefeated on a Friday night game? I am glad this game is on a Friday because I love getting some Friday night action in the
This is a
books.
game that you got to watch out for. because
Sneaky
this
game.
is, yes, a Friday night game. I can't even remember the last time a Friday night game went my way. Um, like, I think everybody's going to pick Louisville, I would
Mm-hmm.
guess. This will be one of those that somehow North Carolina like blows them out or something because
Yeah.
Louisville has a ton of turnovers or something crazy like that. So it'll be interesting for sure. We got some Lagrange boys on there. Jamar Thrash having a great year, wide
Mm-hmm.
receiver for Louisville. So been cheering for him. Happy he's doing well. I don't really know where to go in this one. It's at my one right now, and I've just been flip flopping.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go with Louisville because they're obviously playing better, but this is at NC State. NC State hasn't been
Which is
playing.
kind of a sneaky tough place to play, dude.
Yeah, and NC State hasn't been playing terrible. I mean, they lost to Notre Dame because of just kind of some late stuff that happened in that game. So I don't know. I really don't know. I'm gonna go with Louisville right now just because of how they're playing. They are playing better. They do got better. The offense is really playing well. So maybe too much firepower for NC State
Mm-hmm.
late. So I'm gonna go Louisville.
Man, I'm kind of in the boat with you. This game's really scary just because it is early in the week. It is a Friday night game. I'm also going with the Cardinal. I mean, they are a road favorite for a reason, but man, having to pick a road favorite is kind of scary. This is for sure going to be my one or two. Also, I want to see Jack Plummer kind of step up in this offense and just be able to take command and say, like, hey, we are going to go on the road. We are going to play a complete game and we are going to win. But man, I would not be surprised if NC State wins as well. So I was able to go on the website. Only one person has picked NC State. So one out of the 13 people that have submitted their picks yet have picked in NC State. So basically everyone is going to go with Louisville as well. And whenever we're talking about the Utah and the Oregon State game, that's also a Friday night game. So two really big, good games on Friday to kind of give us a complete weekend. Last but not least, Big 12 action. West Virginia, who has shocked me, absolutely shocked me that they've been playing really well. Really, really well. They are 3-1 going on the road to TCU. Man, this is going to be a Big 12 battle. This is going to be an ugly game. And I honestly don't know who I'm going to pick in this game yet, just because of the way that West Virginia has looked. They are kind of surprising me.
Well, I don't trust the frogs. I mean, last time I picked them, they were 20-point favorites and they lost.
Got thumped.
Yeah. So TCU probably is the better team, but West Virginia has looked good, man. They're playing for their coach.
And
They
scrappy.
definitely they definitely heard us talk crap about them all off
Oh,
season. We told them that their head coach was going to be fired by now, and
I,
they're upset at us. So they're proving us wrong, man.
mhm.
So
Man,
I think I'm gonna go Horn Frogs though, kind of low
yeah.
though, like
I
3 maybe somewhere around there.
I actively have no clue who I'm gonna pick in this game. And I probably won't until probably Friday around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. But right now, if I had to gut check, I'll probably go West Virginia just to try to get some points back because I know a bunch of people will just see TCU versus West Virginia. They'll kind of still have the off season narrative stuck in their head, and I think I'm gonna might go with West Virginia, man, just to see if I can catch some points up. Probably super low, like a 2 or a 3, just so if I do lose, I don't lose that many points. But if I do win, I'm kind of able to creep up. But hey, that's what they play it on the field for. So we can all figure out, man. I am excited for week 5, man. We're almost halfway through the season. We're almost at the midway point. We will be going to Tuscaloosa here in like 3 or 4 weeks.
3 weeks from this Saturday.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's we've kind of put a plan in place. We still got to sit down and map out like where we want to go, stuff we've
Yes.
got to check off.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I think so, if we leave on Friday, I think once we get there, man, we can get there and we can probably eat lunch, and then we can probably get done by 6. I mean,
Yeah.
get
6 or
what we
7.
can,
Yeah.
and then kind of see the town, man, and see Tuscaloosa. You've never
We're
been.
stinking gonna
It's
have this thing going the whole time too, baby.
Yeah, it's gonna be beautiful. It's a
Getting it
beautiful
all.
place. It's a beautiful campus. I'm just ready to see like what's the difference between a lot of these places. What makes Tuscaloosa unique? What makes Baton Rouge unique?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and a lot of these things might be the people.
Yeah.
Um, meeting some of these Alabama fans, meeting these LSU fans, and seeing what they love about coming to these games. And a lot's the food. That's what makes a lot of these
Oh,
places
yeah.
unique. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
excited about seeing it, seeing the traditions in this place, seeing the traditions at Alabama. I've gotten to kind of see it, but not at the level that
I
we want to see it. So
yeah,
I'm
and
excited for you to see it and be around.
because
I
I have
think,
never been.
yeah, you've never been to Tuscaloosa. So see how
No.
massive their stadium is, dude. It is massive.
It'll be the biggest stadium that I've ever been to because I've been to Auburn, I've been to Georgia, I've been to Florida, I've been to Georgia Dome, I've been to the Mercedes Benz. Those are the only big stadiums
Like,
that I've ever been in.
you know how like when you were at Florida and you kind of thought it was small because it sat in a hole?
Yeah,
Well, this one
that's the
does not.
opposite.
This is
Yeah.
not sit in a hole, dude. This thing sits up and you're like looking up at it like this. It's
Oh,
huge. You can't even see
I
in the
can't wait.
stadium anywhere, dude, because it's
Really?
just walls are everywhere.
Oh, that stinks.
I know.
Which
Like
is
you can maybe get a sneak peek through a little crack, but you
uh-huh.
ain't gonna see much, man, because it's so big.
Man, so that's one of my favorite things, like, about going to the stadiums is when you're, like, walking around the outside, like, you can kinda see up into the upper deck, or you can, like, kinda see through, like, a tunnel, and you can kinda get, like, a little view. It's, like, such a good little teaser whenever, like, you're walking to your tailgate. You're like,
Oh, you get
"Man,
to
it's
see the
just the inner."
grass
Oh,
and the
baby.
and the paint on the field. It looks so good. Those
Yes.
guys do such a good job of painting the fields and stuff. And man, it'll be fun, dude, for sure. I
There
think
ain't
you'll like Tuscaloosa.
there ain't nothing like it, man, but I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to get recording, and I can't wait to bring all of y'all this beautiful product that we're hopefully going to be able to bring in a fantastic way for all of y'all to view and watch. Will, you got any last words before we head out, man, and we get to enjoy this beautiful week 5 that's coming up?
No, man. Make sure y'all follow us on social medias. Make sure you critique us, man. Send us some messages, say, hey, you guys are
Roast
doing
us.
terrible. You guys are doing terrible. Or hey, maybe we're doing a good job. I don't know. If you want to join us, please let us know. We love
Because we
having
will
guests
gladly
on.
have you on.
Yes. But if you make yourself look terrible, you probably will not be back on. I'm just playing.
You will 100% be having internet issues whenever we record.
Yeah. Beep. I'm just kidding. No, I'm sure we've made fools of ourselves too. But no,
Easily.
that's pretty much it. Hope everybody's having a good week. And we'll see you guys next week.
We will see y'all next week to review everything that happened in week 5. But again, y'all can catch us on all of our social medias. And this is the Extra Point Podcast. And we are the College Football Experience. And we will talk to y'all